Welcome to Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. I started diving as a teenager and eventually decided to become a dive master. I started sailing as a young man and took many classes with the American Sailing Association and completed an offshore passage of over 1,000 miles nonstop. I love exploring and believe that life is an adventure. It is what you make it. I appreciate you joining me. Please hit that subscribe button. Enjoy. Sailing Fort Pierce, Florida to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Here we are aboard my boat, the sailing vessel RumRations. It's mid-January in the marina here in Fort Pierce, Florida. My neighbors in the next slip, Greg and Kelly, have this beautiful Beneteau. They need to take the boat from Fort Pierce to Fort Lauderdale to have some work done. And fortunately for me, Greg asked me if I'd give him a hand taking the boat there. You can see the name of the boat there on the boom, and the name is Just Breathe. Greg did all the planning and checked the weather windows and suggested we do a pre-dawn departure, so we left the marina at approximately 2 a.m. And again, luckily for me, he did all the planning. All I had to do was show up with my gear at the appropriate time. It was a brisk morning, and the temperature was in the mid-40s when we left. This was the first real occasion I'd had to use my foul weather gear, at least the complete set, the bib overalls and jacket. It worked well, and I was quite warm and quite comfortable. Here we are just outside the marina, headed toward the bridge, and we'll turn left here and exit through the Fort Pierce Inlet. And we really had a lot of light from the moon. You can see here the moon actually looks like a spotlight coming down. It really turned out interesting in this video. Incredibly bright. We had a beautiful sunrise over the Atlantic. Here you can see the sun just starting to come up. It really hasn't crested the horizon yet. And then as we look off to the west, you can see the moon is still very high in the sky. There's that big bright moon. We were motor sailing, and due to the wind or lack of wind, we would end up motor sailing all day. We had a couple rough spots in regard to weather and seas, and I have a brief interview with Greg that I'll show at the end of this video, and you can hear about the weather from him. By 0600, we were not too far from Jupiter, and things were starting to get a bit rolly. The waves were fairly large, but they were far apart enough that they were really just big rolly waves, not terribly uncomfortable. I had my GoPro stick with me that I use for scuba diving and decided I'd try to get an interesting camera angle here. At least what I thought might be interesting. No, I was not actually hanging over the side of the boat. We were making good time, and by 10 we were just off West Palm. It was about this time that the dolphins showed up. By 1400, we'd passed Boca and we were just off Lighthouse Point. The little wind we'd had was completely gone now and we were just motoring. The seas had really calmed and there was not a cloud in the sky.
Captain Greg.
Hey, how are ya? We had an interesting start. 3 o'clock in the morning coming out, winds were pretty high, waves were higher, choppy, bouncing around, but once we got going, it's not too bad. We got the wind behind us. Now there's not much anymore. We were up to about 15, 20 knots. Had some good sized waves, 6 to 8 foot, but it's definitely calmed down now. We got about 2 hours more to go to get into Fort Lauderdale.
Good size.
Yeah.
All right.
A couple hours later, and here we are rolling into the Fort Lauderdale Inlet. By 1800, we were tied up and our journey was over. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.